Hey guys, just a quick disclaimer before the video. I know I said in my last video that my next trip would be next to normal. I'm getting this one out first just because it's a little bit shorter and easier to edit, but I promise the next one will be next to normal. Enjoy the video. Hey guys, welcome to another video. I am on a roll this year, but today it's a bit of an impulse. I mean, I booked it maybe a couple days ago. I didn't know that Aladdin was doing a UK tour, so that's where I'm going today. So I'm seeing it at the Mayflower in Southampton, and apparently it hasn't been in the UK for like 7 years, so it's like a big deal, I guess. I guess it's trying to make like a big comeback. Maybe it will go to the West End, who knows? Also, speaking of tours, the Book of Mormon UK tour opened yesterday in Manchester, and I'm going to the opening night in Birmingham in December, and I'm so excited. Like, it's crazy, but that's not what I'm focused on today. I know it may seem like it because I'm wearing my Book of Mormon merch, but no, I'm seeing Aladdin today at the Mayflower, and I don't really have anything else planned, so I guess from now until I get to the theatre, you'll have some lovely voiceover of my adventures, but I will see you at the theatre. If you know me, I'm a coffee fanatic, so even though I dabbled in some coffee on the train, I did also go to this lovely little coffee shop, not promoting where I work at all, to get some more coffee before heading into West Quay. My outfit today was absolutely slaying. Went to Waterstones, did a little book browse, then I was hungry, so I went to Chopsticks, which is this lovely little noodle bar. But guys, that sign, "Life is better with burritos," was amazing. But you know what my life is better with, guys? Frozen yogurt. Ever since, and I know you haven't seen this yet, ever since I had it in London, when I saw Next to Normal, I have not been the same person, and this frozen yogurt bar in Southampton, as you saw, is incredible. I'm getting distracted. Here is the Mayflower, here are the Aladdin posters. I was actually really pumped for this musical, which is kind of sad because, as you know from the title, I didn't like it that much. Hello, you've just seen my seat view. Finally, I am coming back to chat with you. You can see the stage behind me. I'm not this close, but I still really love where I'm sat. I have high expectations. I didn't actually like the live action movie too much, but the 2 Disney shows that I have seen in the past 2 years have been phenomenal, so I am really excited. I'm hoping it's gonna set itself apart from the movie a little bit. I'm also hoping, in the way that Frozen is, rest in peace because it's just closed, that it's a bit more adult. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's less kiddie and sort of moving away from that. So I'll update you in the interval, but I am going to go and get a little drinky because, like Wicked, they have themed cocktails here, so let's go. Once again, the Mayflower is delivering on the themed cocktails just like they did at Wicked. It's blue and it's sparkly and I love it so much. It's called the Genie Teeny. Get down here if you want it because otherwise it's going to be gone. I'm really excited. I'll catch you in the interval where I will have probably finished this drink, but oh my god, look, I get like 3 little stars. They're little magical stars. Oh my god, I'm such a child, but I love it. So it's the interval here, and I'm going to give a few opinions that I have. They're not bad opinions, trust me. It's very fun, it's very colourful, it's very lively. It feels like just a recreation of the movie, I will say. That's not a bad thing necessarily, but I feel like when I'm someone who loves musicals such as Next to Normal, Moulin Rouge, Book of Mormon, I just feel like it's not in my favourites demographic, but it's definitely fun. And I am loving it, but it's not my thing. I just feel like, unlike Lion King and Frozen, this one's a bit more catered to children than it is to children and adults at the same time. No hate to it, I absolutely love it. Everyone on stage is amazing, but it just feels like it's not really up my alley. I'm sorry, guys. But you know, you're always going to run into shows like this that you're not really vibing with. I mean, as I said, I am having a great time. It is very fun. But I don't think I would go again. It's kind of how I felt about Mrs. Doubtfire, kind of the similar vibe and feeling. It's just kind of crapping. No, I shouldn't say that. The classic's better. That's okay. Yes, I'm gonna stick with that. It's not my thing, but it's very enjoyable for the right kind of person. So guys, I'm home. It's been a while since I've seen Aladdin. Actually, my next video next to normal is actually before this trip. Is this the worst show that I have seen ever? I think it is. Now, in no way am I talking bad about the performers or any of the actors involved in this production, anyone backstage, no one like that. I tried to chalk it up when I was there to the fact that I just wasn't the target audience. If you think about it, I have made 2 other trips to a Disney musical and I have had a blast. So what was wrong with this one? And I have a simple answer to that question, and that is the fact that it is too pantomime-y. And it's not big enough, it's not impressive enough. And I get that it's a show on tour, so there's some things that they have to tone down on. And also, it technically hasn't been in the UK for 8 years, but part of me was like, surely that'll give them time to improve, because Danielle saw it back in the day and she said she didn't like it, and I was like, well, that's 8 years ago. I didn't enjoy this show. Now, if there are any positives that are coming out of this, every performer absolutely killed it with the material they were given. The sets, the costume, the atmosphere was fantastic. I don't know, it just kind of felt like I was watching a CBeebies edition pantomime, and there's nothing wrong with that inherently. However, if I am going expecting the level that I have experienced at Disney musicals like Frozen and The Lion King, I was really let down by this. Before we go into talking about some of the actors, one thing I will say, the biggest letdown of this entire show for me was the lack of animals. And I know that sounds weird, but if you think about it, Disney does a lot in their musicals with the animal characters. You know, you think about The Lion King, it is all animals and it's all very, very intricately put together puppets. But another complaint is, again, as I said, it felt a bit too pantomime-y and a bit kiddie. And that was my fear going into it, but I didn't think it would be that kiddie and that pantomime-y. It was pantomime without the fun of the audience interaction. I love a pantomime, but it's because you know it's going to be a pantomime. I didn't know this was going to have that vibe. I was expecting something that was like Frozen, that was like The Lion King, and I didn't get that. The biggest disappointment in this entire thing was A Whole New World. I love the way they do the magic carpet. It is very, very magical, as it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be the time where Jasmine is finally free and she's enjoying something with someone that she loves. It's meant to be a good, interesting number, but there was none of that. And it's supposed to be a number where you see a lot of character growth, a lot of character connection, development. But I just didn't feel it. Now, A Whole New World, you have the magic carpet, but there is nothing else. It is just a black stage. It just doesn't feel that magical. It's just pitch black. That was it. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a choice. It's a choice, and I don't like the choice. So yeah, the show just dragged for me. It was just pretty boring. The ending was rushed. But the performers were wonderful, and I will give a couple of shout outs to them and also list their names and briefly talk about each one that I felt was really, really strong in their performance. Just like I always do, although it might be a tiny bit shorter because I am not that enthusiastic about this show. Sorry guys. So we had Gavin Adams as Aladdin. He was actually really, really good, I will give him that. He really gave the sort of young boy just hoping to make a future out of himself. And even at the start, they gave a little bit of backstory about the fact that his mother pretty much only just died at the start of the story, and that his whole moral compass was that he would stop stealing because that is what he promised her. And he really wanted to make a life for himself, like a proper good life. And I feel like that's a good moral for him to follow in the story, especially when he, I guess, kind of goes down the wrong road, you know, pretending to be a prince and all, even though he technically is a prince because the genie granted a wish. The wish granting thing, Whew, okay. But I thought he was amazing. He was really, really good. He was really good at being like the golden retriever boyfriend, if you will. And he was also really cute, but he was very adventurous, very funny, very charismatic, and I did love his performance, so well done, Gavin. Desmondo Cathbell played Jasmine. Like the live-action movie version, she is a lot stronger and a lot more independent than she is in the animated version, which I do like. I like the fact that she stands up for what she believes in. One thing I will say is I was expecting her song, cannot for the life of me remember what it's called, but her song from the live action version, I was so expecting that to be in the musical, and it wasn't, so you didn't really get that big powerful solo number with her, which I was kind of disappointed about, but she was phenomenal. She was very quick and sassy, and when she found Aladdin for the first time in the marketplace, you know, that's the part where she really realizes that, you know, everyone's equal. She's not like this high, I mean, she is a high princess, but everyone's sort of on the same level, and she begins to respect that and respects other people's way of living and the fact that she doesn't need anyone to hold her down in marriage. She can be free. And she was really, really talented. I will say that. She had an incredible voice and she is so, so beautiful, especially in the costumes. That's another thing I will say. I did love the costumes. But yeah, she was wonderful. Now, please forgive me if I pronounce this name wrong at all. Yikai was the genie, and apparently he's a drag queen. I didn't know this, but I do kind of get that vibe now, and I do love it. I love his portrayal. I do like, and this kind of relates to Will Smith's Genie in the live action one. That's still such funny casting to me, but I do like that with the live action genies that I've seen, they don't try and do a full-on copy of what Robin Williams did, because that is just crapping on his memory and also his talent as Robin Williams. I like that they turn it into their own thing. He was giving very much drag queen, gay best friend. I did absolutely love him, and he was probably my favourite character in the entire show, and I gotta say, I love the genie costume and I love the genie makeup. One thing I will say though, and I know this is going to make me sound really old, I didn't even grow up in the 90s, but the pop culture references are definitely a lot more modern now than they were in the animated version. But the thing is, I don't really like pop culture now. Pop culture to me is just everything that was like early 2000s and the 90s. So I did kind of zone out with that sort of thing because I was like, oh, this is a bit cringe. But other than that, he was really, really funny and really, really entertaining, and I do love his vibe. Now, speaking of not having animals in the show, also we have Jafar's sidekick, Iago, who was played by humans. He was like this silly bumbling sidekick. So I will talk about these two together real quick. So Adam Strong played Jafar, while Angelo Paragrosso played Iago. And these two are great. I did like their dynamic. I love the sort of villain comedic sidekick dynamic. It was very similar to how the movie is. Adam was very, very over the top evil Disney villain, which, to be honest, that is what I expected because Jafar is like irredeemable. He hasn't got any redeeming qualities. Similar to Scar, they are just pure evil. Iago kind of reminded me of how the hyenas are in The Lion King. He was just this funny, silly sidekick, and honestly, Angelo did such a great job at that. He got probably the most laughs out of me, to be honest. He was very, very entertaining. Honestly, it was those two scenes that felt the most pantomime-y, if I'm honest. But I did love them, so congrats to them. And we can't forget about Aladdin's pet monkey, Abu. Even though Abu is replaced by Aladdin's three friends, these guys, again, most laughs out of me. Probably my favourite characters, or some of my favourite characters in the show. So these friends were played by Nene, Adam Taylor, and Nelson Battencourt. These guys were actually really, really funny. I love their dynamic. I love how they had different portrayals for each of their characters, and I know that's like kind of an obvious thing, you know what I mean? Like if you're playing different characters, you're gonna act different. But it was the fact that even though they were different, they got on so well and had like the best lines together. Like there was one that was very sassy, there was one that was just always hungry, and that was like his whole gag. And yeah, they were just really good. And I did kind of like them replacing Abu because they were kind of Aladdin's other side, besides the genie and Jasmine, you know, they were his sort of opposite to the moral compass sort of thing, although they sort of came around in the end and they are very, very loyal to their friend. So I think honestly that's gonna cut it. Everyone was absolutely amazing. I just personally don't like this show that much. Maybe it's not for me, but like after speaking to a few other people who have seen this show and don't really like it, I don't really know where my opinion stands. I mean, I'm assuming people can enjoy it because, I mean, the audience when I went at the Mayflower were having an amazing time, and I just kind of wish that I could have been one of those people, but I just wasn't, guys. I'm sorry. But unless I really don't like an actor's performance, I will never crap on the actors for a bad show. Everyone was great, as I have already said, and as I said, I have shouted out as many people as I could remember from this show for being absolutely amazing and sort of keeping me awake through it. I know that sounds harsh, but genuinely, it dragged so much that I got so bored. But it was worth giving it a shot, and I'm glad I went to see it because now I just know not to see it again. It's not my thing. Maybe it's your thing though, and I'm happy for you if it is, but I just didn't enjoy it that much. I am sorry, guys. First bad review, I think, on this channel, but I digress. Next time we will be seeing Next to Normal. It was just because the editing schedules, this one ended up being a little bit quicker, so I was like, I'll pump this one out now. But next time I will be seeing Next to Normal with Isla, and I hope you enjoy that video when it comes out because it is a fun one. But for now, I'm gonna go, and I'll see you then.